Hi, this is Robin the Generous Stitcher, and gosh, so I may look a little bedraggled today. I had dental surgery on Friday, and thank goodness I can talk. I wasn't even sure that would happen by now. Ow. I'm still hurting a lot. But a little bit better every day. And what I wanted to do was get out my PNWSS Part 2 early, because I'm going to have a lot of information about PNWSS. You know, what happens, what do you do, what should you bring, what about staying at the hotel or not, and also I'm just taking a lot of stuff this year. Besides my small exchange. Actually, the small exchange isn't so small. the stitching is small. But, all right. So, that reminds me something I should write down on my notes here. All right. Yeah. Good. All right. I hope I'm not going to forget anything. I'm going to try to go through this quickly, because last time I ran out of storage space. I have cleared out a lot of stuff on my phone, so I hope that I'm not going to have any issues with storage. So I'm going to start out quickly with the whips, because I haven't been doing that many different whips. So I do have a finish. So I don't think the last time I filmed this was not done. So this is, yeah, I finished this on September 1st, and this is a bib from Million of Stitches out of Canada. They have a number of different bib styles, and so instead of doing, when I've done a bib in the past, I've done across the whole stitching area, and this time I decided to just do the sides, and then babies can dribble down the middle. So, you know, let me know in the comments if you like this idea, because it's the first time I've tried it. My current bib that I'm working on for a baby gift is going to have designs across the whole thing. Most of the stitching is going to be on either side, and then smaller designs across. Very similar to the anime bib I did last year for PNWSS, that I actually finished at PNWSS. This bib, maybe I will finish at PNWSS and get to ring the bell. Oh, that's another thing I should write down here. Oops. So, all right, so finish for September. And hopefully I will have a second finish for September, which is the other bib that I'm working on. And I think the next video I'm going to do for September, I think I'm going to break down how I designed that bib, and you know, talk about how that happened, and the decisions I made, because I ended up charting. I didn't have patterns for the figures that I wanted to put on the bib, so I ended up charting them myself. And so that was sort of a process that I don't really want to spend 2 hours on this video, so I think I'm going to do it for the next video, because hopefully the next video that bib will be done, and then you can see the finished product. Then we can talk about how that got created. So all right, so that was my finish. Now I have this huge stack. In fact, I have so much space. I've just got this little shoebox size space right here, where I have my pen and my notes. And Max got up here and he was like, "There's no space for me." But all right, so where is? I'm trying to look through. I only have 2 whips, because I was working on the night bib, which is what I'm calling that. That is, designs were from the night terrarium from Tiny Modernist. And I still plan on doing each of the terrariums that I have, that she's put out. I would kind of like to do them all on one fabric, but some of them are done on like dark black fabric, and some are done on things that aren't so dark. So I've got to think about how I can do that, and if I can do it on a smaller count. That bib and the last bib I did, where I did Valentine Terrarium, parts of it on the bib I did last year, those are 14 count Aida. So anyway, so Night Terrarium was a whip, which is now finished, and then I actually have a Fox and Rabbit, a Gathering of Acorns. This was a Nashville 2025 release. And so again, I haven't got too far. It's hard to see. Maybe I should turn on. I don't think that's going to help. So there, I'll just shine it more in the window. So yeah, if I bring it up. So I'm working on the mortar, which goes into the brick foundation of this house. And so I'm working on this side. That's where I kind of stopped. And I still have to finish doing full crosses across the roof and then add the chimneys. So, and then I and get the foundation, then I'll be done with the house and I can start moving on to other things like the urn or the woman there. So, all right. So this is my television piece where I stitch on it when I'm watching TV because it's simple. I'm going to shove this back in here until after I finish filming. Then, oh my goodness, here it is. All right, this is the other thing I'm working on because it's a Christmas gift and I want to get it done as soon as I can. Obviously the bib is due sooner. The night bib I just finished is for my new niece who is due in November, although my sister-in-law thinks she might come early because her first child came early, so it's possible. All right, so this is, when do I even have the pattern? Oh boy. This is why I shouldn't make a mess. Usually I have things a lot more organized. And part of the problem for this particular piece, which is driving me crazy, is that poor Willow came up here yesterday as I'm recovering from my dental surgery, and I'm thinking, okay, I've taken enough pain meds. Actually, I don't take pain meds because I have red hair genes. Pain meds don't work on me, but I was taking ibuprofen and naproxen for the inflammation, and here it is. So Willow came up here, and the cat dish is on this table now, and Willow had eaten some of her breakfast, and then she came up again and she scarfed down a bunch more food, and then she barfed it up all over the cat dish. And so I immediately, as I'd been working on this Japanese Bantam from Lindy Stitches for my for one of my other for my great niece for her Christmas present on Unmelly Yellow from Mystic Fabrics, 36 count. So I immediately yanked this and put it back here on the shelf. Knock stuff over. Because I was like, oh no, she's thrown up. Well, then she came over and crouched in front of the computer and she barfed on the pattern. And there's still a little bit of residue of the cat barf on the inside here. I mean, I can read it. I took a wet washcloth, wiped off the cat vomit, but I probably need to wipe this again. I'm not keeping it with the pattern just because, stomach acids. So, all right, so those are my two whips, and I did get some stitching in on this. you know, my mouth hurts, I've been getting headaches, I think from the tension. I have TMJ, so I get headaches from if my jaw's, you know, hurt or there's pressure on my jaw, then I get headaches. So, yeah, and so whips, that's what I've gotten done. I'm going to continue to work in the Japanese bantam, and we'll talk about that more in terms of when I talk about what to bring to a retreat or what to bring to Pinwis. And so, oh, and then the other thing that I've been working on, is it in this bag? Yes, it is. Okay, the other bib that I'm working on, I'm calling the Mount Hood bib because it's got from the Blue Flower Forest Home. She did a chart of Mount Hood, and so Mount Hood's going on this end of the bib, and then this is part of some tree branches, and then this is going to be a snowscape with figures doing snowboarding, and which I was stunned on Friday after my dental surgery, and after I'd slept for a while, I got up and I actually charted those snowboarding figures, which I was like, yeah, you're crazy. It's like you're about ready to have a migraine and you're charting these things, but at least I got it done because I've been really concerned about that. And besides the Blue Flowers Forest Home, which if you haven't seen it, so this actually was an exclusive for Pinwis 2022. I was on the Zoom waiting list for this. I didn't get in because I got on the waiting list in August. So with Pinwis, there's a pretty extensive waiting list, and this was before we got the larger ballroom, which is the first year. This year we're going to have it, and so I'll talk about that a little bit in a few minutes too, about what to expect with Pinwis. So anyway, I've used this is Multnomah Falls. This is Mount Hood right here. This is a giant sampler type. Beautiful indigenous plants and animals for Oregon, and so anyway, I've done 2 bibs now with Mount Hood on them, and when the parents see the Mount Hood on the bib, they want that one. So, and then I had dug out this old Jeanette Cruz one-nighters pattern, which is like sports athletic figures, and it does have some toboggan sledders, and there are 3 figures, and the parents, you know, husband and wife, have now 2 boys as of June, and the husband snowboards, and he can't wait to teach his sons how to snowboard. But this is from 1998. Snowboarding was a thing in 1998. I certainly had heard about it and knew people were doing it all over Oregon slopes, but it is not on this. So, so I had to come up with my own ideas for snowboarders and making that into cross-stitch patterns. So anyway, I probably will stitch this toboggan sled on that bib. So that was my intention. Although now that I have my snowboarders charted, they may take up too much space, so I'll have to figure it out. And I'll talk about how I figure that out in my next Flosstube. Okay, so let me see, this one is, oh, let's shove this back in the project bag, and then I can put it down on the floor without it getting dirty. Okay, so got my finishes and whips. Now let's move on to Pinwis preview. So I talked about my stitching purse and about how the Sailor Mary Stitchers all got one of these last year. That one of us had gone to Autumn Abundance or the sampler, maybe it was Autumn Abundance or Summer School. They'd gone to one of those at the attic. And so I think the store owner designer table they all got like a little purse like this. So, you know, my friend came back and said, we need to get these purses. So I got a pink one. And the other thing that was not in the last video is, since I finished a bib, I have an extra pair of little scissors. That's a very important thing to bring, is you need to bring your scissors, or more than one pair. I have scissors now in most of my project bags, so having them in here is sort of a backup. Also, part of PNWSS is shopping trips to Acorns and Threads. So if you don't have a scissor, or your scissors break, or you get lost, you can get some scissors on Friday or Saturday of PNWSS. So, all right, so I went through this last time. And what to bring to PNWSS. So the first PNWSS I went to, which was 2023, I had never been to a single retreat. And like I talked about going to retreats in the last video, I'd never been to a retreat. So I went to one retreat in 2003. I went to 3 retreats in 2004, and will have gone to, including Jingle Ball, 7 retreats this 2025, and probably at least that many next year. So I'm addicted. So the first year I went, I brought my my 3 plastic boxes of DMC bobbins, because I had no idea if I would need my own floss, as I'd never been to a retreat. And there are, from what I can tell from talking to other people and reading and, you know, watching Flosstubes, I think I would break down retreats into maybe 2 or 3 categories. Now, the one that PNWSS is, Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit, it is what I would call a designer retreat, where there is 1 or more designers, and they bring usually an exclusive that you get given before other people, and that the shop, if it's a shop sponsoring them, gets to market that exclusive for a certain time, you know, exclusively, and sell it through their shop. And so PNWSS, and I'm not sure how far back, certainly probably 2022 for sure, maybe back a little bit earlier than that, because the PNWSS, I think, started around 2020 or 2021, and I know that the first one they had was during the first part of the pandemic, and so they did that via Zoom. And so PNWSS has 2 designers, and last year it was Teresa Kogut and Beth Twist, who are friends, who've been to retreats together, and so they kind of got together and they created something that you could stitch either part of it individually, or you could meld them together into one large sampler that had 1/2 was Beth Twist and 1/2 was Teresa Kogut, but the style and the fabric was the same, the style was the same. So really, as you went from one side to the other, I'm not sure you could really tell who did what. And so, and they at PNWSS, the designers, you may get your design on Friday, or you may just say, oh, hey, by the way, we're going to have a design on Saturday morning. And so you can't start it yet. I think it's gone both ways. And so they'll be talking about, well, these are the designers, which are, for PNWSS, it's already known. We usually know a year in advance who's coming. Unlike the Gathering of Acorns or Gathering of Nuts, which is the mini retreat at the shop, Acorns and Threads, at the last Sunday in January, that's a secret designer. So there is a designer, but you do not know until everyone's in the door and the door's shut, and then the designer is announced. So let's see. So what you get is you get the pattern, you get fabric, you get floss, and you may get some goodies. And I was going to pull out some goodies of things that I've received. I think I can't remember if I got the corner gauge. I might just peek in here to see if I shoved it in here or not. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I put it somewhere else. Okay, another pair of scissors. So, yeah, I thought I had it in here. Last year we got like a magnetic tray to stick your needles and scissors and things, so they were magnetized, so they all just stayed in the tray. We got some wooden products from Beth, from Beth's husband, who's doing cross-stitch related woodworking. So yeah, so you'll get some swag. One year we got a see-through bag with zippers, and I use that for putting, if I go floss shopping, I put my floss in it. Or when I get home, I put the floss that I bought in it that I don't have time to or space to put in my floss stash, which I really need to catch up on, or do something different. And so you get stuff, and you have no idea what you're gonna get, but you will get some swag. One year, I don't think you can even see this. It's sitting right there. We got a little, yeah, I can't do this. So one year we got, I think it was last year, we got this little jar that you can put orts in, and this is silver. This was a silversmith who did this for us. So anyway, so you get some swag, and it's usually fun swag. And then there's sort of a joke take and make project, which is really kind of silly, and it's sort of the infamous joke with PNWSS, is that there's a take and make swag thing, which is really silly and like easy to make. Like, so this was made by I think it's called the Boardroom. Sorry, I've got dust on it. This was for Acorns and Threads by Beth Twist's husband. He's Dave. The Boardroom is the company, and so this was the take and make. This is basically a cell phone stand, Acorns and Threads. So you have your stuff. You put this down. You put your cell phone here. You can watch Flosstubes or shop or whatever as you're sitting. And I've actually and there's a little divot here for a cord if you're charging your phone. So I've used this at home watching Flosstube and charging my phone. So that's some of the swag you might get at PNWSS. And the other kinds of retreats that I've noticed is that it could be a sit and stitch where there isn't a designer, but I think the Library Stitchers in Maine is more of a sit and stitch where people come, they bring projects, they bring snacks, they see their friends. The Stitch Con, that's a sit and stitch. They may have swag, they may have some designer stuff that's swag, like, or some free patterns, but they don't have a designer coming to teach you a class or give you a pattern. And that's the other thing. Some retreats have like a class, and it may include like the finishing of it. Jingle Ball. that has classes. There's presentations by designers and guest speakers, but there's also usually some classes which you can choose to sign up for with Jingle Ball and some of the other virtual retreats from Lindy Stitches. Those are an extra cost if you're going to do the class. I've done, I think, one class so far. There was another class I would have liked to have done, but I had like another retreat on the same weekend, and that was with an exclusive with a designer, and I got some patterns and fabric and floss. So, you know, so let me look at my list here. So yeah, so and the other thing that all retreats have is an opportunity to buy, and at PNWSS they have a dedicated shopping evening outside of normal Acorns and Threads business hours on Saturday night from like 4 to 7. Excuse me. So PNWSS is open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and they don't have any hours beyond that. I mean, they have their staff come in to say kit things up for classes and retreats, but that's just the staff are working extra time. You don't get to come in and shop during those times. And so this is when the dedicated PNWSS attendee shopping occurs. However, since the shop opens at 10 on Friday to everyone, if you're at PNWSS on Friday in the morning or the afternoon, you can go to the shop and shop. And I know that PNWSS has like a discount for attendees. Now, Acorns and Threads, let me take one more sip. Acorns and Threads has a coupon book, and so it has monthly specials like a coupon. And for September, it's Threads. And I've already made a big shopping list, so I'm going to go to you can't use your coupon book during the PNWSS event. So I've already made up my floss wish list, and I will go to PNWSS after the retreat and buy some floss. Yeah, because I thought about if I could go this weekend, but no, I was. It wasn't that I was out of it. I was just in too much pain yesterday, and I'm still in pain today, but not as much as I was, because I can function a bit, but I'm still. It's enough to be distracting. So buying is a part of almost every retreat that I know of, and some retreats actually have vendors in another room or another location adjacent to the retreat. Some have like a bus or carpooling to the shop. This PNWSS last year, I actually went with some of my Salem Mary Stitcher friends to the shop on Friday morning, which I wasn't expecting, but that's before the big attendee shop event, so it was a lot less crowded. Maybe you get first glance at all the fabrics, because one thing that Janine does is I'm not sure if she stockpiles or if she just has a bunch of stuff she's bought, and so she has the whole annex classroom next to the shop that's full of fabrics, and of course there's other things too. In 2023 they had a trunk show for Jody Rice, Satsuma Street. That was really nice to see her things. And I'm doing Halloween Cat, which is a pattern I bought at PNWSS 2023 of hers, as one of my whips. You haven't seen it for a long time because I haven't had time to work on it. All right, so what do you do at PNWSS? So I have my attendee email that I got, and it lists the agenda and schedule of what we're going to be doing. So Friday at 10 a.m. the doors open. This is at Embassy Suites at Washington Square Mall, and even though people queue up to get into the ballroom, the hotel does not like that because of fire code violations. So try not to. I know people want to get in and snag their tables. And it literally says 10 a.m. the doors open. You will have plenty of time to get settled, make new friends, visit and stitch. And this is true, okay? Because Friday's really informal. And then Friday and Saturday at noon, they have lunch. And they have lunch at 12 p.m. on Sunday, but usually that's a box lunch. In Friday and Saturday, the lunch is a catered buffet. And it's good. And there are enough things with my food allergies that I can usually find plenty to fill me up. So at 1:30 p.m. after lunch, we have introduction of designers and projects, which, yeah, I think, so we might get the things then. And usually the projects, each will come in its own bag, maybe a plastic bag, maybe a cloth bag, and it will have the pattern, the fabric, and the floss. So 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. is the smalls exchange. And this is a little different than what I expected. They were talking about doing 2 different smalls exchange, breaking it up because it's a very popular thing, and it takes forever because they allow stealing. Last year they didn't allow stealing, so it only took 3.5 plus hours. With stealing, it takes forever. And I know people who won't do it because of the stealing and how long drawn out this is. But there's a hardcore group of Acorns and Threads patrons who love the stealing part. I don't love the stealing part. But anyway, so smalls exchange. And I'm going to get back to the smalls exchange and doing the smalls exchange, because the first year I didn't do it. I wasn't prepared. I think I knew there was going to be a smalls exchange, but I didn't know anything really about how it worked. Last year I did the smalls exchange. They didn't do stealing last year because they wanted to keep it within the time frame. And so anyway, and because it's so long and I'm just wanting to stitch and sort of like ignore unless they call my name to come up and pick my smalls, I don't want to really pay attention. Whatever you get, that's great, but I'm not really interested in seeing what everybody gets. I'd rather just spend my time stitching. Maybe I'm a spoil sport that way. So last year at the Smalls Exchange, I had a Halloween design that my friend Tammy from Woodland Stitching Studio had made into this wonderful box. It was about this big. And it was a Rebel Stitcher pattern, candy corn, moonlit garden, which was this pumpkin woman watering candy corn plants, and with a moon and some stars, and really nice. I did it on Fox and Rabbit. Gosh, what is the name of that fabric? It's yellow with maroon modeling. I'll put it in when I do my edits, I'll put it up. And so I had a huge hunk of that fabric, so I'm going to redo it because I liked it. And a lot of times when I see a smalls, it's like, okay, I'm going to do this for Smalls Exchange, but then I'm also going to do it for myself. So, all right, so 5 p.m. is dinner on your own. There's a lot of restaurants in the mall area. You don't even have to eat at the mall, although they have a really good like Chinese dumpling place, but it's like if you want to sit down, you need to do reservations like days or weeks in advance, or have a weird time of day or night to go, not during 5 to 9. You won't get in. Or 4:30 to 9. Then 7 p.m. they have desserts, and I think they might have coffee in the ballroom itself. And the hotel has like some kind of snacks, like happy hour. You can get some alcoholic beverages or pop, and then there's like some kind of snacks. I have not done that because usually by that time I'm like, I'm starving, I'm going to go eat dinner, and some of the snacks are things that are not things that I can eat because of my food allergies. So they also have a small motel restaurant, which is pretty spendy. I've eaten there a couple times, and they have a full cocktail, beer and wine selection. And so I've eaten there twice for dinner on 2 different pinwhists. And so twice or 3 times, 3 times maybe. And so sometimes I go back in the ballroom and I stitch until maybe 9, but a lot of times I'm really tired because I'm an introvert, so being around all these people all day kind of tires me, and then I want to go back to my room and I want to stitch till like 11, 11 o'clock, and stitch by myself and get a lot of good progress done in my hotel room. The hotel room's full, all the accommodations you would expect. The beds aren't too bad, and they have a great lighting, and they have lots of outlets in the rooms. So Saturday, we have one of the first designer presents their project and may give you some tips about it, talks about how they came up with the design, and it says along with fun and games. And I know that part of that is raffle drawings. And then 12, that's at 9, 12 p.m. lunch happens. 1:30 p.m. the second designer presents their stuff, fun and games. The last couple pinwhisses I've been to, the designer and perhaps their spouse have done like question and answer, and tell stories. So 4 o'clock is the break. That's when you can go to dinner. 5 to 7 is, so 5 to 7 is the exclusive shopping event at the shop. And that's at Acorns and Threads, which is 4475 Southwest Shoals Ferry, Suite 158. It's on the ground floor. It's pretty obvious because it's a good chunk of the building, bottom floor. And then there will be a charity auction. We did this at the beach retreat. Willow's trying to figure out if she can walk across all this stuff I've got stacked. Yes, girl. She's puzzling it out. She might be over here in a second. So, hey, girl. Don't. It's like not just cat vomit on that pattern now, cat spit. Hey. Yeah. She's sniffing at the bib and trying not to sneeze. Hey, sweetie. So I think she's gonna hop over. Yeah, she's getting down. Okay. So 7 items will be up for charity auction to be displayed, and they will be selling tickets. Tickets are cash only. 7 to whenever is snacks and late night stitching in the hotel ballroom. And depending on how I feel, I may stay or I may go back to my room. I know some of my friends live in the Beaverton area, so I'm actually coming on Thursday night So we were talking about maybe getting together Thursday night to stitch at one of their houses, and then, or in my room, and then sort of having a pre-Pinwist party. And then Sunday from 9 to 12 is the charity auction, and more stitching, fun and games, and the wrap up. And so the fun and games will also be part of the raffle drawings. Fun and games could be anything, and it is fun, and there are surprises. And then the wrap up is when Janine talks about what's going on for next year, upcoming retreats at the shop or at the beach. And usually she announces who's going to be. Willow, she's sniffing at a plant she knows she's not supposed to chew on. Willow, be nice. Max is coming up here because he's concerned that I'm talking to you. He's going to be the enforcer if she doesn't. Whoop, hey, you come up here. You know there's not room. We did this before I started. Okay, he got to his food. That was his priority. So 9 to 12 is, like you say, charity auction, and the wrap up, which is announcing what's going to happen next year, what designers are coming for classes at the shop or for Pinwist in 2026. Pinwist 2026 is going to be Labor Day weekend. So this year is the first year that we've gotten the 200 plus ballroom, the big ballroom. We've always been in the smaller ballroom, and that's been great. But, you know, they started out with 100 people, and then they went to last year 150, and it worked out because they placed tables a little differently. So they were able to fit 150 in there. But, you know, it was a lot of, you know, it didn't seem that tight to me, but maybe some other people might have thought that. And so this will be the bigger ballroom. We're still going to have 7 people per table, and I don't know what the lighting situation will be. The original small ballroom had great lighting. I never needed. This is one thing you should be bringing, is a little a lamp. This is Vivilux, which is a brand sold at Acorns and Threads. This does not have a separate magnifier to it. I know people have the stand-up lamp and magnifiers, and those are really nice, but those do not last in terms of their battery life. And, you know, maybe 3 hours. This lasts, at the beach retreat, this lasted all weekend. And I didn't use it all the time, but the beach retreat lighting was not great at all in the ballroom. It was really dim. So I had to have this all the time. And sorry, I don't know why the light is. What are you looking at, buddy? Oh, he's looking at this and kind of scared because it looks kind of like a snake. So anyway, like I say, this lasts most of the weekend. I have a charger obviously for it, and then I charge it in the room at night, and then I bring it back down. So in terms of what to bring, your lamp, and I have the Vivilux magnifier. I have a little bag to protect it that one of my stitchy friends made for me. So these are not that sturdy. Actually, I need to twist it. These are not that sturdy. They snap. So I had one of them snap on me, and so I'm a little bit more cautious with it now. But anyway, I don't usually bring things that I need to magnify. But that's a personal choice. You may have a piece that you want to work on that needs magnification, and if you have a lighted magnification that you can travel with. Sorry, Max is crawling up now they're both going to crawl up the cat tree. So that's what's going to happen with Pinwist. Let's see, and that's what you do. should you stay there or not? I have people who live in the area, and my husband has griped at me for going there because we live in Woodburn, which is like 40 minutes away. So technically I could travel, but I choose not to because I like to stitch late at night. I like to see my friends. I like to go out to eat. And so if I can afford to do this, I will. And this year is the first year that I'm actually coming in Thursday night, so I'll already be checked in. I won't have to check in later. And looking at I need to start thinking about wrapping this up. So Embassy Suites, Hilton Portland Tigard, which Portland Tigard is not a city. There's this no man's land at Washington Square, which is Tigard, Beaverton, and Portland all smushed together, depending on what side of the street you're on as to what city you're in. All right, so I'm gonna put that down. What do? You can stitch on your own projects, or you can stitch on the projects you're gonna get. You may not get the projects to start with until Saturday, or you may get them on Friday. I think in the past we've had them where we hand them out on Saturday morning so that people can do stitch on their own projects and socialize on Friday. Like I said, the first year I didn't know what I was doing, so I brought all my DMCs, took up half my suitcase and about 6 patterns, which I did not work on all 6. So this year I took my whip spreadsheet and I highlighted in pink the ones that I think that I'll bring. And obviously I'm going to bring Japanese Bantam because I want to get that finished. I'm going to bring the Mount Hood bib because I want to get that finished, and I can work on the charting and specialized stuff in my room late at night by myself. And I have thought about, so you've seen the Japanese Bantam, you've seen the bib. I have also thought about bringing, because I started this at the beach retreat, I would like to give this as a gift someday. This is Flamingools by Art Design. I'm doing it on, oops, I don't want to have those things get lost. I'm looking for the tag here. There it is. This is 32 count Medusa's Gaze, which is a huge chunk of fabric. It's only going to take up a little spot. But anyway, this is way more stitch heavy than I thought it was, or at least more stitches than I thought it was when I bought it. But it has all this stuff around the border, which is purple and orange, like checks and like checkerboard. And so I can work on the border without too much thought process. And I can also start working on some of the things down at the bottom, because I start at the bottom left. So right now, I think I've stitched the orange. Yeah, I think I've stitched all the oranges on the bottom border. So I've got a place to sort of scaffold the rest of my stitches. So this is something that I've thought about bringing. And hey, I have an extra scissors in here. That's where they were. I was thinking I was going to take this out and put it in my stitch purse, but then I couldn't remember what project it was in. Yay! And the other thing that I've thought about taking to Pinwis is, I worked on this last year at Pinwis, but I haven't touched it since. This is sorry, like a hair that's trying to get in my mouth. A House Without a Cat. This is from Imaginating. This is a memorial piece for Velveta, who I will stick a picture of in the video. This is counted. This is I think it's 32 count Joblin, Summer Sky Joblin, and so pretty much all the DMC called for, except that I have basically, I've taken Velveta's photo and I've matched. She was like a silver gray blue color, almost like a Russian blue. She might have been Russian blue. I never had her genetic tested, and I regret that I never did. She was just such an amazing color. So I've blended the flosses to stitch her as she looked like in life, and the rest of the DMCs are as called for. And so anyway, I worked on this last pinwhist on like Sunday morning, so this might be my Sunday morning piece when everything else is packed up and in my suitcase and taken out to the car. So what else to bring? I was trying to think if there was, let's see, I've talked about the bib and the flamingos and the Japanese bantam and the house without a cat, so I'm thinking I'm bringing 4 projects. That's not counting the 2 projects we're going to get in the retreat. The other things that I'm bringing is I picked out 2 patterns from my stash that no longer speak to me. Those are going on the free table, because there is a free table. There's also a brag table. I thought about bringing the night bib for a brag because it's something that I have that I haven't given away yet. So the other thing people want to, oh, and I really would love to get that mount hood bib done so I can ring the bell, because Japanese bantam will not be done there's too much stitching left to do on it. And my stitching has been slowed since I'm hurting. So what else to bring? Table gifts. Last year I got a bunch of needles in bulk, and I gave everyone at the retreat a beading needle and a regular needle with my Flosstube information on a card. And I'm not going to do that this year. I worked on fully finishing my small for the smalls exchange, fully finishing the Biscornu in back of me, and so I have just not had time to do a table gift for everyone. I am bringing some chocolate for the Sailor Mary Stitcher tables and the table that I'm going to be sitting at, which it'll be some people are from Sailor Mary Stitchers, but it's going to be its own table. And so gifts, you can go crazy with gifts or you can not provide a gift. No one is going to care or think one way or another about you if you bring a gift or not. Smalls. So there is a stitch count for the smalls, but there are no stitch police. And so last year I did this Rebel Stitcher Halloween piece, which was great, and it was definitely within the stitch count. This one is also in the stitch count, and I'm not going to show it, but I am going to show the back of it. So this is the part that's like, let me see if I can actually, yeah, you can see how tall it is. It's blocking my face. So this is something from Paisley and Polka Dots, which I'm going to be doing a little small pro tips for the smalls in the construction of doing this. This is for the Feathered Friends Collaborative, which is at least 24 different designers doing a monthly small, and so this is a monthly calendar, which is a birdhouse on a tree. And it's attached by magnets, so you can take off the banner with the month, which I will show the month, and then you can put this back on, and I've got the, oops, so there's the banner, and then I can just stick my month back on. And these are those rare earth magnets, so they stick on really well, and I'm not going to show you the piece. that I've done. I have shown it in some other floss tubes previously, so you could find it if you did some research. So anyway, so I'm going to move this out of the way. And another thing I'm bringing for this pinwhist that I wouldn't normally bring is there is a friend that is getting a special gift, and you've seen this before on this channel. I was going to give the pattern as a giveaway, but with postage and tariffs being the crazy hot mess that they are right now, I'm not doing that until I have a better idea how I can do that. I actually got an email from Cottage Garden Threads, and they said that with the blockage of postal services to the US, and they use Australian post office to get the threads to the US, they are basically now going to be accepting orders from the US again, and they're just going to put it in a to the US bin, and then when things, you know, change so that they can actually send stuff to us, then those things will go out. So, all right, and I think I said I'm going to do three table gifts worth of stuffed for the sailing or stitchers and the people that I'm going to sit with, and that'll be chocolates. And that was one thing I wanted to do today, but it's not going to happen because I hurt, I'm swollen, and that was to buy more chocolates. So anyway, so this Feather Friends collaboration, I'm not showing the pattern. This is all of the different designers. I'm sorry that there's like, oh, collect them all. Okay, so December Stitches did the Feather Friends for May, and so yeah, maybe not 24 designers, but I thought there were a couple of these that were done by more than one designer. So anyway, it was stitched on 32 count vintage Blue Whisper, which is linen, and by Witchelt, and no, it's Weigart, sorry. I think it's Weigart. Yeah, Weigart. It's softer. The Witchelt that I've used has been really stiff. I don't really like Witchelt so much, which makes me kind of mad because I'm Danish and they're Danish, but I prefer to support Denmark. But it's my personal choice. Some people don't mind stiff linens. I am not that fond of them. So Feather Friends is a collaboration, and this is for each month, and I'm going to be doing this for me, and I'm going to do the pro tips in a couple minutes about how to get those things done. Oh, this is a very important thing that you should bring to your retreat, is a light fabric bag to stick your stuff in, to stick your stitch stuff in, your projects in, as you go to and from your hotel room. And I also bring another cloth bag for my shopping because it's great shopping. This is something I picked up, I can't remember if it was last pinwhist or this pinwhist, and it's a mottled purple. Excuse me. And I'm showing this because I have yet to figure out what I'm going to stitch on this really dark, beautiful purple. So if you have any ideas, please put them in the comments. Maybe we'll do some chart parade at some point, and you'll say, oh, that's the one she should use. So, all right. So besides taking my my updated WIP spreadsheet, I'm also taking the spreadsheet of all the fabrics that I have in my stash that are not kitted up These are all the things that are in the white dresser waiting to find a pattern. So I am, if there's atomic wrenches I don't have, I'm gonna buy them. If there's lap and loops that I don't have, I'm gonna buy them. If there's Mani di Donna, I'm probably gonna buy that. So anyway, so I thought it'd be handy to have this because it's a lot, as you can see. So those are things to bring. So, oh, and I did a little retail therapy before I started. This is Tiny Modernist Mouse's Pumpkin Pie. So this is my small for Pinwist 2026, and I will be, sorry, I will be including my pumpkin pie recipe and my pie crust recipe, which are modified from Betty Crocker 1955, and they are kind of like secrets. So that will be included with my Smalls Exchange for 2026. All right, so pro tips for Smalls. Like I say, there's no Smalls police. I try to pick something that I like, that I want to do for myself. So I do it for somebody else first, and then it stays in my stash, and eventually I'll do it for myself. So Paisley and Polka Dots did the birdhouse. Sorry, there's some glare on that. I have to just pull it out here. I have a picture from their website, if I was grabbing the right sheet, and then I have the instruction sheets. So, oh, there. Sorry, it's getting to be sunny at this side of the house, so maybe it's time to. Nope, that made it worse. Okay. So anyway, it's a birdhouse on a tree with the little banner, and so, oh, here's the other thing I bring, is a charging brick. It's pink, so it matches my purse and my stitching purse, and so get all the things. So they don't, cats have kind of lost interest, so I'm not worried about them tipping things over, but now I'm down to pro tips for the Paisley and Polka Dots birdhouse. So I have another set of them. Now, the instructions basically say paint the wood pieces, and then they say sand if you want a distressed finish. I did not do that. And then it said assemble the pieces using tight bond quick and thick glue to assemble the pieces. We did not know what tight bond quick was. If it's on the West Coast, it's not at stores that we shop at normally. Maybe it's at a specialty shop, woodworking shop, specialty store. I don't know. I don't do this stuff normally. I'd have my friend Lisa taught me stuff because she loves to do this kind of stuff. And she does all this stuff by herself. So what we found, and what Tammy from Woodland Stitching Studios found when she did this, which you can see her finish on her channel, and it looks very similar to mine because we did the same pattern, is that, so these little tabs go into like these bases. So there's there's little tabs on this birdhouse, and they go into this part where the tree is. and which is like, there's actually a base here. So, and then the tree has tabs, and it goes into this base that has this scalloped edge at the bottom. What the pro tip is that these things do not fit. Maybe they would fit better if you didn't paint them first, or you don't paint the tabs and then you touch paint up later. Those are not things, yeah, you guys better not be roughhousing up here. Let me move that out of your way, Willow. So, they do not fit. In fact, so what both of us learned in doing this is you have to sand the heck out of them. You use a little mini sander, you use sandpaper, you use a wood file, you use whatever you can to make those tabs go into the bases, because they will not do it. And oh, that reminds me, one other tool besides the file. Oh, hey, Willow. Yeah, hi, Willow. So this is a very important tool, because when you're putting these things in that look like they easily go in, they do not. You have to pound with a rubber mallet the heck out of them. And you don't glue them together. That would be even a bigger nightmare. You are going to be gluing the two pieces of trim together, and then you're going to glue the trim to the birdhouse, and you glue, I think you glue the two round bases you're going to paint and then glue together. So yeah, so it says paint everything first, then glue them together, and then you put your magnets on and you put your piece on. I did not spray my finished piece with a matte clear coat, which that's something they recommend to do in the I actually have some kind of a protector, but that's for painting. I have no idea what it would be like on a fabric piece. So anyway, rubber mallet is your friend. You're going to be really pounding the heck out of these things, and you're going to need to sand them. And the one flaw is that you can see some daylight there. I could not, yeah, you see a little bit of daylight at the very bottom. I could not pound these things any further. I did my best, and it's good enough. And if you really wanted, you could put a little bit of trim, like ribbon or fabric around the bottom to hide that. But it was not something I had time to do, and I didn't have time this weekend to go get, Willow's right here. Hi, Willow. She's like, I want to sniff the tool. So pro tip with these. So now that I know, I either may not be painting the tabs, and I'm certainly going to be sanding them better. I did, the other pro tip is that these are laser cut. And so when you paint these things white, the white paint becomes eggshell because of the burned edge. So the thing that is not mentioned in the instructions but needs to be done if you want your things to look white. I don't like eggshell, bone white, off-white. I hate that. It is not my taste. It's not even what their picture shows. So, but if you don't want it to be eggshell, you need to varnish these cut edges. where they're laser cut, where they're darker. You need to varnish all those things, which is not a problem. You get the varnish at the same place that you get the paint, which is acrylic paints. You know, they're at Michael's. They're easy to get. But those are some of the pro tips for this construction from this shop that is not mentioned anywhere in the instructions, but will make your life less crying and screaming, because there was crying, okay? Not exactly screaming, but boy, yeah, we were like, what the heck? And I like basically texted Tammy and I said, we can't get this done. She's like, oh, I really had to file the heck out of these. And I'm like, okay. So then I went to the hardware store on my lunch hour. I bought a wood file, the sandpaper, and I knew I needed the mallet, because we used the mallet to get the base and the tree together, because they went together more smoothly than the birdhouse and the base, which were both painted white, which after they were painted, there was no way they were fitting, the slot was fitting into the tab was fitting into the slot. So those are the pro tips for finishing these. I have the pattern. I'm going to do this for myself. I like some of the other monthly patterns. One of the things that we, as a design choice, I'm going to be sneaky about this, is silver and black. So when my friend Lisa and I were trying to decide what trim should we use, the recommended trim is sort of this brown and beige. Didn't like that. Not my taste. And the only thing that has the wood finishing is the tree with some, you know, fake knot holes and stuff. And so we looked online at 123 Stitch and some other places, and we looked at a number of these Feathered Friends collaboration months, and we didn't have all of the different months. They didn't seem to be available. I'm sure I could order them if I wanted to do every month. And there are a few months that I would like to do. Tammy, I think, bought 3 different months when she bought this. And coincidentally, we just both like May, because it's super cute. And so, but she also bought, I think, July, which is a American Eagle, you know, bald eagle, and which is also a really nice design. But there was one that was for, I think, January, or maybe one of the spring ones that was like pink and black or something. I really liked that one too. So anyway, we tried to pick, the black and silver looked like it would match the biggest numbers of designs that we could see online, to make sure that this fit if you wanted to do all 12 months. Now, I have a cat monthly pillow series that is eventually going to get stitched a couple years down the road and then go in the cat bathroom. But I don't normally do like seasonal month sort of things in my house. I don't really have places to put this, but and I'm not sure. I think I'd have to change the height of my shelving to stick it in here, which might be the place it goes, because, you know, curious cats. But anyway, you may want some other trim. You know, this one I kind of, you know, the black and silver looks okay, but I think I kind of like I like the blue. And I was kind of thinking, you know, it's too bad that this thing doesn't sell multiple eaves for the birdhouse, so you could paint them in different colors to accent the different months, you know. But, you know, since there was one that was kind of pink and black, I was like, okay, the black's going to fit that. The silver is the July bald eagle, American Eagle, is more of a brown and gold, and, you know, the silver might look okay on that. Certainly the black's not gonna be clashing. So, all right, so I think I've covered everything I need to cover. This is 1 hour and 15 minutes, and I have a little preview, Max video that I'm gonna stick at the front of this. So I think that's it, and hopefully I will be able to eat regular food by the time PNWSS happens next weekend. Right now it's like tapioca pudding, and I had like a turkey TV dinner because it's mashed potatoes and stuffing. And so yeah, so this had to come out. I had damage to the tooth, and I've got this temporary bridge in. After PNWSS, I go back to the dentist and she takes out the stitches, and then we wait another couple weeks, and then we put in the permanent bridge. So anyway, so that's my plan. And some of you, I hope to see you at PNWSS, and others, please comment, like, share. Thank you for subscribing. Max is like right there, so he's about ready to stick his little face in the camera. Yes, you can see his whiskers. I love you, Max. All right, so that's it. Thank you very much for this long video, and I hope this helps. And I can't think of anything else that I put on my list that I haven't talked about. Yep, I think I got it all. And if I don't see you at PNWSS, maybe I'll see you at the 11/20 Crafters Retreat in October. I'm definitely going to be at the Harvest Moon Hangout the weekend after PNWSS. So hopefully I will see you again in the coming months. Thank you.